We separated the project because I think it was getting a bit complicated. But what we're here for
We
is
don't like that.
It's two separate properties, my friend.
You're getting goofy.
That was
Yeah, we are.
requested by Jaime Limon.
We're
Yes.
not into separating projects, but that's okay.
All right. So what I'm here for is to hopefully, have enough information to get final approval just for the front of the building. And until we get the tenants, then we'll come back, and including demolition plans. But this is where we are at the moment. The idea is to take the facade and put it to the first row of structural systems that we have towards the rear entirely. So we remove this. It makes sense anyway, and that leaves us approximately 12'6" from the property line on. In the center, there will be some stairway that is going to lead to the office above. We don't have a tenant for that. That'd be nice. And it makes sense because I think that will divide both of whatever this is going to be, a restaurant perhaps. It would divide this space from this space, and each space would have its own loggia. You asked for the ceiling, and the ceiling. What really turned out, this is a house that worked out rather well. The ceiling, it's all painted. It's just paint, except this, of course. And so I want to try something similar to that with some stenciling or something of the sort right here. The only three-dimensional aspects here would be these bronze clavos that we would like to, just to create some mass a little bit. And then we have the star lamps in the center here.
Now, on the plan, where is that occurring? Just so.
Well, I have a reflected ceiling plan as well.
Are you talking here? This is where you're.
Oh, yes, the two
Yes.
spaces, and we have one starlight here.
Because I mean, I look at the wall layout there, and it doesn't seem to
No.
reflect
Yeah,
that.
it's,
But so this is just the idea for
That's
those
the
spaces.
idea.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the idea for the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the colors yet, but that's kind of the idea for that. And then this is the tenant that is coming in. So this tenant will take on this space, and then we'll kind of move along. This is a wonderful brick wall, which we're probably going to leave it exposed on the interior. Is- As far as the elevations are concerned, we're left, because of the structural module that we have here, these are stone. The only way to do this is to make them out of stone. And they're small, they're 10 inches in diameter, and maybe we'll paint them, maybe we'll leave them as a stone, I don't know. But that gave us that. This is the wrought iron. I guess in order to serve wine, you have to have a separation, so this is it. And then this is the storefront beyond 12 feet away that you have here. Thinking about doing a shield, a stone shield. We're thinking about putting a big M here for Malaga.
What?
A big M.
M.
Or Malaga. We may call this the Malaga.
And do you have a photograph of the existing building that they can see side by side?
I think you have them, actually.
We don't have anything in the file.
Photographs? Yeah, the last submittal you have photos.
Pep Boys?
Peppers.
Oh, that's what it is. It's the file.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I may have my version of the demolition plan here. You see in this photograph way up here, there's a wonderful, what is left over the 1920s corbels. Those are to remain, of course. The eyebrow, the canopy is to be removed. And then all of that was done in the 60s is to be removed. Going back to this again, the thought was here is to also treat this whole thing with paint. And I don't know the color. I am, this isn't quite it, but I am thinking that it would be a checkerboard pattern with these two colors, but not, the colors should not be solid colors. In other words, they should be diluted and almost hand rubbed. so that it takes some of the tina for this. And then you have a plank door, very similar to what is in several places for another parking structure. It's one of them there. Then the Barcelona in the center. And here you find the section of what happens to the arches. So if you recall, in my prior submittal, there was just simply a lintel. But in this case, because the column is only 10 inches and the capital is about 14 inches, the thickness of the column would only be 14 inches. Beyond that point, you have the structural columns, which are about 2'10". Now, and when you look at the end of this wall and the end of this wall, it would reflect the treatment that we have in the front of the wall, because when you're walking in from a pedestrian point of view, you're going to see both of them, and it should make sense that it should turn the corner. Just let me go on to the details here. The balcony details, the idea is it's all solid stone. This is the details for the balconies. And I need to get some shop drawings from Jose Luis, but anyway, this is what they're going to look like. And they're going to be 3'6", and they're going to project approximately 30 inches to 30. I think it's the maximum we can project over a public sidewalk. Detail of the starlight fixtures. Here is a detail of the column. I thought that a Romanesque column would be good here. And again, keep in mind, this is only 10 inches, and this is a detail of the wrought iron here. And everything would be hammered. I think I call for heavily hammered. With a post and a finial similar to this here. On the existing structural columns, I'm proposing that we put a small termination to those columns, only at the bottom, which you see here. The door pulls are here, and the Barcelona is here. And this is kind of a detail of a section through this column, which would probably have a number 5 rebar that would be attached. Incidentally, it won't be split in the middle. It would be slipped in. Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Pardon me?
It's the real thing. So
Yeah,
I hate this.
otherwise,
The columns drive me
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So cheesy. This would be the way to do it.
The actual storefront is going to be different, but very similar to the one on 1230 State Street that you just recently approved, where Saigon is, and so on. They did a good job with that, with the thin mowings and so on. So I'm referring the contractor to that project so that they can copy all of the details for that here. The handles are just simply pulls that are done out of wrought iron as well. And let me see if there's something else here. And then what we'd like to do is get the demolition plan so that we can go ahead and start working on this if you think that I have enough information for final approval for the facade.
Are you done? Thank you. Is there a public comment on this? Seeing none, I'll have questions. And please keep in mind that he's asking for final.
I have a couple questions. Are you extending the brick into...
Yes.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, is there an office upstairs now?
No. It hasn't been for a long time.
I think you're going to have an elevator.
Yep.
You may be right.
He
I
is
am right.
He is right.
He's always right.
Yes. This is an
And
ADA.
that
You
3,000?
must.
It doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Yes.
We were wondering about that.
So, and you're going to have to remember that the sidewalk is sloping and you've got ADA percentages to take care
4
of, which are,
inches approximately.
but you've got the 12 feet here to resolve that. Over at the door is pretty close, and I don't know what, you're going to have to be very careful
Yeah.
to look ahead at that. That's all.
Are there any other questions?
Ask something real quick.
Yes.
Have you considered the security issue? We just had a recent project come in where they needed to put security gates because of people going in and out. I'm looking at those deep recessed areas and wondering what you're going to do for security.
Well, this area here is only 3 feet, and we have to do that in the plan, if you look at it, Jake, because we cannot, it's an emergency door, and we cannot encroach into the sidewalk any more than a foot.
I'm referring to these spaces here.
Oh,
That
no.
might be very tempting for homes.
Yeah, I know. That's always a
I'm just
problem,
afraid
but
that
what
if
do?
you don't think of it ahead of time, we end up with the usual patchwork. You know, aftermarket, something that somebody picks
Good
up.
point.
I mean,
Beautiful building.
how do you deal with that? You just have to
Maybe
love
how you deal with it is you fill the space with something.
with something, you know.
You know, camp out.
Otherwise, you have a fence and a cage. No, we're not proposing anything there.
did have one question.
Please.
It has to do with your checkerboard type pattern here. Have you considered using hand-done tile there? I'm just thinking about what's going to happen to this wonderful thing after a while.
You know, we did consider tile. The idea is that we really,
Knowing you probably it would turn out beautifully if you painted it. I just worry about the future.
it'll probably fade, and that's the whole idea, Louise.
Okay.
The idea
Well,
is
I
that it was,
understand that.
Think about Meridian Studio.
yeah, something like that.
Well, that's in bad shape.
Yeah, that is.
Anyway,
You know,
Henry, I think this is great.
I'm going to remind you I'm going to get up and walk out at 5:45. So
Okay, so are we all?
if we
are
would
we
like
all?
to come to a resolution, he is here for concept, is asking for final. And
I have a couple of additional comments.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr.
I think you're going to need another exit out of the second floor,
that is correct.
and it's going to have to be more than one half the diagonal distance from this guy, and so you're going to have to figure out a way to get it out in keeping with all the other exiting for the remaining portions of the first and second floor.
Not if you sprinkle it. If you sprinkle it, it doesn't have to be diagonally across, and what we're thinking about is getting...
Okay.
Mr. Lenny, we'll never get to the end of this if you respond to his concerns. Okay. Are there any other comments? I have a comment. I don't consider these details to be fully detailed, so I am reluctant to give a final, personally. The balcony is not dimensioned. We're referring to details of another storefront.
I like all the detail work I see. I like your wrought iron details. I like your handle details. So I think the details are coming along fine, but there are other issues like elevators, maybe some storefront idea. And I do like this idea of if it can be done well is painting that pattern. I think that could be, you know, with the light paint as you described, that could be really wonderful and give kind of a pizzazz to things.
Yes, Mr. House.
You know, if it comes out like drawings, I think it'll be magnificent.
Are we good?
I love it. I'm similarly concerned because there's no structural has been done yet. We don't know that the detail of the beam here is going to allow the arches to be as drawn. So it seems like some things could change significantly, but I wonder if it's possible to give it a final to return on consent for additional details. I don't know. I mean,
After what we
looking to
just saw
find
with
an
Ellen Carter,
accommodation.
with your beautiful drawings.
but then what is the
we brought in.
necessity of needing to get right into demolition?
We have to, this tenant needs to move in.
Okay, well, you can't do any of this until you've gotten engineering and
Right.
submit it to the building department,
Right.
so it doesn't
We
really
have an
hold you up.
engineer.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
it's always been the policy of this commission while I've been here that until you have some CAD drawings,
Yes.
I'm not willing to give final.
Yes.
And as beautiful as it is.
Well, or
Yeah.
hand-drawn, but to scale and dimensioned and, you know, working drawings, so.
Madam Chair, can I just say something? If there's an elevator to be had here with the interior, will not affect the exterior of the building at all. The building is tall enough, and the ceiling is tall enough, number one. It would be a colossal waste of time detailing these things, because we will just do it for you. These guys are going to do what they can do, and I don't know how to forge iron. It's going to be 1/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and this is what is this is the beauty of these things. Proportionally, they will maintain the proportion. I can be happy to come back with dimension drawings. I'm telling you, it's for you guys only. These guys are eventually going to make it work.
Sure they are.
I'm more concerned about structural stuff. You say you've had that done already.
We have this. We have a Mitch Perkins looking at that. Everything you see, it is currently when you look at those arches, they're spanning from the lintel is spanning from one end of the column to the other. We're just simply infilling with plaster and framing. And the bottom of the headers, as you see them, those have been measured and so on. So aside from the rebar inside the column, I'm not sure that there's going to be anything that the structural engineer is going to require for the front facade. He may for the rest of the building, but not the front facade.
I will look for a motion. I'm not going to propose one then.
I mean, there are front and side elevations that are to scale, and maybe not
Fully dimensioned, but they, I don't know. I'm going to leave it to you guys since this is my last meeting. What the heck do I care?
I make a motion that we give final approval with details to return to consent.
I'll second that motion.
Indefinitely to consent or in 4 weeks?
Indefinitely.
All those
wait.
in favor?
4 weeks.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm opposed.
Okay, who made the motion and who seconded?
I
Adams?
made the motion.
Sharp, second.
And Taylor opposed? Why?
Because it is not
Pardon?
fully detailed.
Okay.
The structural is not on there, the electrical is not on there, the color is up in the air. It is not fully done.
Plans with the alien Cantor, they were not what you had drawn.
Can we finish?
Yes. So,
Final approval with details continue to consent when, Henry?
In 4 weeks.
Oh, okay, General Assembly, thank you.
But as a clarification, we can still at least get started through the building department, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
One little additional word. Where's that drainage section you had through the...
I'll make a motion to...
Well, wait. I also agree and I align with Bill this way. Thank you, Mr. House, for all your service. You're great. You're simply great.